Thank you. And good morning, everybody. So as she mentioned that the subject is going to be networking, but with a difference. So there are three things they don't teach in school or any educational institution within India and overseas. That's mindfulness, happiness, and networking. So what I'm going to do today is trying to change your lens, those who are sitting, because networking is seen as more transactional, and there's nothing wrong with that in the world. My philosophy or principle, which I've imbibed, and I've called it the term the human connect, it's in giving that you receive. It's a famous quote by St. Francis of Assisi, which mentioned, when you give, you receive. But the mindset and the lens has to change. You cannot fake it. So I will start with an example and a story. In 2018, we had a lot of floods in Mumbai, and I worked with a lot of diplomats. So that time, I called up the Israeli Consul General, who's my friend. His name was Yaakov Finkelstein. So I asked him, it's raining, it's flooded, I stay in Bandra, any of your staff is around, please, they can come home, stay overnight at my place, I'll give them a meal, etc. And he never took up my offer because everything was okay, but that built a connect with him because I reached out to him without an agenda. That translated into, there was, in a couple of months, the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, was visiting Mumbai. There was a famous selfie of him with Amitabh Bachchan and all the stars, which was also later became viral. So they had one-off media celebrity dinner at a Taj, and all the who's who of the media industry, Karan Johar, Amitabh Bachchan, all over there, but the only exception to that was I was invited. Now, why was I invited? Because I had touched a chord with the Consul General. So that is one, but I did it without an agenda. We became friends. He's left his position. He's gone back to Israel. We still remain in touch. The second example I'll give you, about 10 days back, I stay in Bandra. I was walking down, and my driver told me, watchman has a problem. He was screaming with pain, something going on. I had to go for an important meeting. I thought first, let me get a rickshaw, put him somewhere, and tell somebody to take him. But I sent a message to the meeting. I said, listen, I can't make it. I'll come a little later. I immediately put it in my car and rushed to Baba Hospital because, public hospitals take time. Went into a hospital, got his admission then, and got him treated. He got saved in time. Now, again, it was not because it was the Israel Consul General. For me, it doesn't matter. Or it's a building security watchman. It has to, as I'm saying, the lens is it's in giving that you receive. And I will, again, so that's what is my whole principle of talk today. And if you do that, it will change the entire life. And a lot of teachers are there, a lot of young students are there. I wish I knew this whole principle of operating when I was younger, because it has opened up huge opportunities for you. I will again example or illustrate by 3 more examples. And one is what not to do. So one of the time, I go to various networking dinners. So there's one hotelier, which I can't name. He keeps coming to me and gives me his visiting card. So I already had collected 8 cards of his. So next time when I met him, I said, he again gave me his visiting card. I said, sir, I already have 8 cards. He said, why don't you keep the 9th one also? So he did not connect. He did not do anything. And where do you think all the visiting cards went? It went to the trash can because he did not make a connect. He did not talk to me. He's just distributing his cards to everybody without any, impact. And I have 2 more stories, but before that, I'll give you a framework. So my framework, I've introduced a couple of frameworks. One is a simple one to remember called blinks. And I'll explain to you what blinks is. B is for body language. They say non-verbal communication constitutes 75% of our communication. Sometimes you don't need a person to talk, but somebody's sitting like this bored, you're in a conference room. You can make out people are disconnected. So that is one body language. And so I'm giving you tools which we need to work on. Listening. We Indians are very poor listeners. We try to preempt somebody who's listening. We complete the conversation before we listen. So I think listening is a very important skill. Passive and active listening. These are all tools to build the human connect. I is investing your time. When you're with somebody and somebody's speaking to you, Don't look here and there. Invest your time, even if it's for the 10 minutes. N is remembering names. I'm sure everybody here in the audience, so each one of us have a problem in remembering names. Because now what happens, if you meet somebody and you have to introduce and you don't remember the name, you'll say, oh, boss, he's a boss or whatever, because you don't remember the name. So name is very important. Q is quality versus quantity. What is quality? So in my earlier days, I was guilty of doing that. I used to go to, let's say, an event, and there are like this 100 plus people. I literally used to go to each one and meet them, again, doing the same thing what the hotelier did, without making eye contact, distribute my cards. That time, I was just an upcoming businessman, started distributing my visiting cards, and did not make the connect. Now I realize where all my visiting cards went. And then where I'm saying quality versus quantity. So now, after all the experience and maturity, so if you're in a room of 100 people, 200 people, decide probably you have to meet and connect with only 10 people. That's good enough. Have a conversation with them. So if you meet that 10 people, and out of that, even if you connect with 5 and stay in touch with 2, it's good enough, because that's where you're making the connect. And one of the important aspects, all of us have mobile phones. We can't live without that. It's literally like a limb. We have hundreds and thousands of numbers on our mobile phone. But when you have a problem at 12 of the midnight or at 4 o'clock in the morning, whom do you call? You will not have more than 5 numbers in your mobile phone whom you'll reach out to. So that's the quality of the relationship which you build. And S is staying in touch. Sometimes you meet people in a conversation, and my mantra is stay in touch within 48 hours. I met some interesting people while I was at the green room. I've taken the numbers. The key is, after I've spoken to them, nowadays visiting card is out of fashion. People exchange numbers, and then we talk on WhatsApp. So the key for me, those who I decide to stay in touch, I will send them a message within 48 hours. It was lovely meeting you during the TED Talk. It was great having coffee with you. We like to stay in touch. So blinks, again, it's body language, listening, investing your time, quality versus quantity, and staying in touch. Another acronym I built is SIDE. SIDE is, we all have various IQs. So S is the social intelligence. We are here, we move in society, how we dress, how we interact with people. That's called social intelligence. And that's very important in today's time. We don't have to be, abrupt or something of that kind. I is IQ. IQ is, I don't want to get into that. And D is digital intelligence. In today's world, we have ChatGPT, we are on Insta, we are on Facebook, social media, we're talking about cloud computing, we're talking about quantum computing, and even a small kid can work on a computer. So that's the digital intelligence of the side. And the E, according to me, the most important intelligence is emotional intelligence. People are also calling it as EQ. You have to be sensitive to the needs of people. You have to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. So that EQ factor, again, all these mantras I'm telling you is building onto the human connect. It's building relationships. It's building, changing your lens and reaching out to people, being an empathetic person, and then you will connect in a way where nobody can. Let me share 2 more interesting stories. One is about, I'm a president of one of the Rotary clubs, and there is 2 organizations which are large NGOs, Rotary and Lions. So we decided, the Lions Club, I knew there was a gentleman called Lion Ashok Mehta, who was a world international president. I knew him well. So once he told me, we are building this hospital. It's in Sion, and it's a 100-bed hospital. It's already there, but we need to put a cardiac unit. We have all the resources, but we are short of funding. And we believe Rotary are very resourceful in putting in the money. So all I did, I heard him listening. I heard him, and I reached out to my Rotary team. I said, listen, this is a project which is going on. I've seen the hospital. It's a great setup. All I want is, can you all have one joint meeting? Fast forward, we had that meeting. Our committee team, the funding team, met Lions, the team, and can you believe it, that meeting, which lasted for 30 minutes, translated into an investment of an NGO CSR funding of more than $1 million. So what did I do? I just put that effort in connecting. And today, and you can, it's in Alliance Tarachin Bapa Hospital, is that we do the maximum number of cardiac surgeries in a month, even more than any hospital in Mumbai. And that is for the poorest of the poor. We treat people for 3,000 rupees for angiography, less than, almost free for angioplasty. Now, why all this happened? Because I managed to connect. So people tell me, what did you get out of it? You connected. I said, no, this is a goodwill which is created. It's the mantra, it's creating goodwill, and you're creating good karma. So when you do all that aspects of creating good karma, doing that, magical doors open. Now I refer so many patients, our drivers, our watchmen, they call it the yellow card, the ration card, below the poverty line. I can just make a call and get that meaningful outcome done and saving so many lives. And that was just the thought process, listening, understanding, connecting the dots, and did that. I've already got a timer thing, but I've got 3 more minutes left, so I'm going to talk one on another story of an insurance agent. So there was this insurance agent who used to keep calling me like all insurance agents, and they're doing their job. He was trying to sell me insurance. I honestly was ignoring his call. So one day, he sent me a message, and he said, sir, I have written your book so-and-so. I love chapter number so-and-so, and he, sent me a message. I read it. So he done his research. I read it, and obviously, next time when he called me, would I pick up his call or no? I did pick up his call because he did something out of the ordinary. He connected me in a different way, not just spamming me. And finally, he also sold me insurance. So that was his success story, but the whole evolution was from what, he reached out and, he separated himself from the crowd. Now, so all I'm trying to tell, my basic message today is 98% of the universe works on the principle of WITF, what's in it for me. As human beings, we are wired that way. But I am trying to say, if we can just translate that and be among the 2% of the world population in saying that if I give, what can I do for somebody? When I'm meeting somebody, it could be somebody you're listening to. They said, my daughter wants an internship somewhere. They want a job somewhere. They're looking for some assistant. Listen, and if you start thinking about, and the lens has to change. It has to be internal. You can't fake it. And if you start operating from that mindset, you will be at 2% of the world's population. And I can tell you, magical doors will open for you. You'll have young students, and it will open up opportunities, whether it's for jobs, career, your own personal choices in life, and you will become a human magnet.